Have you ever wondered how primitive societies viewed family and gender roles? It's quite different from our modern perspectives. Let's dive into a fascinating part of history. In many Melanesian societies, intercourse was recognized as the cause of pregnancy. However, unmarried girls often blamed their condition on some item in their diet. Even when the role of the male was understood, irregular sexual relationships made it difficult to determine the father. Consequently, the quite primitive mother seldom bothered to inquire into the paternity of her child. The child belonged to her, and she belonged to her father, brother, and the clan. These were the only male relatives her child would know. The bonds of affection between brother and sister were usually stronger than between husband and wife. Often the husband would remain in the family and clan of his mother, visiting his wife only clandestinely. Even in classical civilization, the brother was often dearer than the husband. For instance, the wife of Intifernes saved her brother, not her husband, from the wrath of Darius. Similarly, Antigone sacrificed herself for her brother, not her husband. The notion that a man's wife is the nearest person to him is relatively modern and restricted to a small part of the human race. In primitive societies, the relationship between father and children was so slight that in many tribes, the sexes lived apart. In regions like Australia, British New Guinea, Micronesia, Assam, Burma, and among the Aleutes, Eskimos, and Samoyeds, tribes existed without visible family life. Men lived apart from women and visited them only occasionally. Even meals were taken separately. In northern Papua, it wasn't considered proper for a man to be seen socially with a woman, even if she was the mother of his children. In Tahiti, family life was quite unknown. This segregation of the sexes gave rise to secret fraternities, mostly male, serving as a refuge against women and resembling modern fraternities in their hierarchical organization. The simplest family form was the woman and her children living with her mother or brother in the clan. This arrangement was a natural outgrowth of the animal family of the mother and her litter, and the biological ignorance of primitive man. An alternative early form was matrilineal marriage, where the husband left his clan to live with his wife's clan, working in service of her parents. In such cases, descent and inheritance were traced through the female line, sometimes even the kingship passed down through her. However, this mother right was not a matriarchate. It did not imply the rule of women over men. Women had little power over property even when transmitted through them. It's true that in any society, women exercised a certain authority arising from their importance in the home, their role as dispensers of food, and their power to refuse men. Occasionally, women rulers existed in some South African tribes, and in the Pelew Islands, the chief took advice from a council of elder women. Among the Iroquois, squaws had equal rights with men in the tribal council. But these were rare exceptions. Overall, women's status in early societies verged on subjection and slavery. Their periodic disability, unfamiliarity with weapons, and the biological demands of child-rearing handicapped them in the war of the sexes. This doomed them to a subordinate status in all but the very lowest and highest societies. Ironically, women's positions did not necessarily improve with the development of civilization. It was lower in Periclean Greece than among North American Indians, rising and falling with their strategic importance rather than the culture and morals of men. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this exploration of primitive societies and their views on family and gender roles, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating history. See you next time.